That is the sound of the infamous Yamaha SPX90 symphonic patch. Or is it? So I bought an SPX90 recently. I found one in Japan. Pretty cheap, in pretty good condition. I've got a standalone video with it if you want to hear some of the other effect modes, but I basically just bought it for the symphonic mode and the Zakk Wylde association because I love the sound of the No More Tears record. I remember hearing that as a kid and it just blew me away with how kind of big and wide it sounded. So I really want to try and copy it with my Axe FX3 and my Eventide H9. I've gone about doing that two ways in the Axe FX. One way using a delay block with a really short time, some feedback and some modulation. Another way with a flanger block, and I've used the shimmer chorus mode in the Eventide H9. We're also going to hear a free plugin, Valhalla SpaceModulator. I'm a massive fan of Valhalla's plugins. They're all either $50 or free. You should totally get some of them because they're amazing plugins. But SpaceModulator has a symphonic mode in it. So I basically tracked my guitar dry and then I reamped it a couple of different ways, including through the Axe FX3 with the delay, with the Axe FX flanger, the SPX90, the H9, and SpaceModulator. And what you're going to hear are those modes in no particular order, and I'm not going to tell you which is which. The point is that you can get ballpark with any of these methods, and it's more about getting that kind of wide, chorusy, sort of flangery sound, you know, the symphonic sound. It's not really a particular preset, it's just more a way of processing your guitar with a short delay, some feedback, and some modulation. So this is what all of those modes sound like. They all sound a little bit different, but they're all in the ballpark. You may have noticed as well that I actually left the SPX90 connected in all of those modes because it's quite noisy. The modern units are really, really quiet. The SPX90 in comparison, or the one that I have at least, has a bunch of just kind of background hum and things like that. So it wasn't processing audio in all of those clips, but it was connected just to give you that background hum. Otherwise, you would be able to pick it straight away because you can pick out that noise really easily. So that's why the noise was consistent there. The way I went about matching this, Yamaha say in the SPX90 manual that the SYMPHONIC patch is just the stereo flanger without control for feedback and delay time. So what I did was I first tried to match the stereo flanger in the SPX90 to the SYMPHONIC mode, and I found that if I used stereo flanger A, I set the feedback gain to about 30%, and I set the bass delay time to 30 milliseconds, it got me super close. Now, 30 milliseconds is a really long time for a flanger. That's normally something we would consider a chorus. I just consider it a matter of semantics. They're all basically modulated delay lines with or without feedback. So in the Axe FX3, that's why I started with a stereo delay block, because it would give me that 30 millisecond delay. I could adjust the feedback and then I could add modulation. I also reduced the bit depth to 12 bits because the SPX90 is a 12-bit processor. So I thought that got me pretty close. I also went down the flanger route as well because, you know, as I said, a flanger is like a delay line modulated with some feedback in there. And that one I also liked. It had its own thing going on there. Finally, the shimmer chorus in the Eventide H9 actually got me surprisingly close as well. That shimmer mode lets you add feedback to the chorus, so I thought that was appropriate to try and match with the SPX. And then Valhalla SpaceModulator, I just brought up that symphonic mode, set the rate the same, and then played around with the mix and the core delay time in there. So I'll put all of those settings up as screenshots at the end if you have any of those devices and you want to kind of cop that tone. And hopefully you learn a few little tricks about, you know, the fact that specific effect types aren't really voodoo. We can definitely emulate all of these old pieces of rack gear, but sometimes the noise and the limited bandwidth and just the kind of act of like pulling out a rack unit, setting it up, that's part of the experience as well. You know, it's great to have these tones stored away as presets, but you know, sometimes it really is about getting your hands dirty. And as I like to say, you can't emulate the smell of an old unit. They always smell the way they smell, and I mean, mine doesn't have a particular smell. Not that I go around smelling effects units or anything like that. I've talked too long. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.